Hey everyone, Retro Xeon here. I'm the indie developer and publisher behind Cyberpix 89. Now, before we jump in, Cyberpix 89 is a 2.5D arcade-style action game set in a retro, futuristic version of 1989. It's a cyberpunk-inspired world built around fast combat and arcade pacing. Now, because after 10 years of game development, learning, failing, rebuilding, and starting over more times than I can count, I want to talk about what I've actually learned from doing this. When I first started making games, I thought it was mostly about ideas, big ideas, cool concepts, the kind of things you'd see in your head and think, yeah, that would make an amazing game. But over time, I learned something very different. Ideas are the easiest part. Execution is everything. A great idea, the structure falls apart fast. What you start with is not what you finish with. Because as a game developer, you are building your game, and at the same time, you are rebuilding your game. And the game development forces you to go through that process constantly. I would just love to imagine a world like Cyberpix 89, but you have to build every system that makes it function. Movement, combat, AI, level design, optimization, UI, sound, feedback loops. Every single piece has to work together or the whole experience breaks. One of the biggest lessons I've learned is that scope will destroy you if you let it. Every developer starts by imagining something massive, but reality is different. Time, resources, energy are always limited. So you learn to prioritize what actually matters: feel, gameplay, the clarity, movement-to-movement experience. Another thing I learned is that game development is all about constantly solving problems. Very rarely does something work right the first time. Most systems in Cyberpix 89 have been rebuilt multiple times. Combat systems, enemy behavior, movement physics, everything. Every small little thing needs special attention. I also learned that motivation is unreliable, but discipline is everything. There are days where everything clicks and you make huge progress, and then there are days where nothing works, nothing feels fun, and you question the entire project. If you only work when you feel motivated, you won't finish anything. You learn to keep going anyway. Another major lesson that I learned is that feedback is valuable and dangerous. Listening to players is important, but not every opinion should change your direction. Early on, I made the mistake of trying to please every suggestion. That usually leads to a messy game. You have to filter feedback through the vision of the project. One of the greatest lessons, I think, is learning patience. Game development takes longer than you think. Always. What you expect to take weeks often takes months. What you think is almost done still needs polishing, bugs removed. So over time, you start measuring progress in the number of systems completed. But maybe the most important thing I've learned is this: you have to actually finish things. Not just start them, not just prototype them, finish them. Because a finished, imperfect game teaches you more than 10 abandoned perfect ideas ever will. So when I look back over 10 years of game development, I see a long process of slowly understanding what it actually means to build something from nothing and carry it all the way through. And I'm still learning. That part never really stops. If anything, this game is just a snapshot, of what I've learned.